Hello, this is Dave in the IQ Center with a quick tutorial on how to make measurements using Photoshop. So you can see I have Photoshop open here. The first thing to do is to open a file, and this can be a still image or a video file. So we're going to click Open, and I have a video file loaded up here. And you can see if I open a video in Photoshop, at the bottom you'll get a timeline, and here are controls for playing or doing frame by frame, and you see a little timeline here, and if I take this little playhead and move back and forth, you can see I can run through the video. Hitting the play button, we'll just play it. And so what we would like to do is make some measurements on this little ball that's sliding down this inclined plane. And to do that, we've got to set up a couple of things. We're going to use the image analysis tools in Photoshop, and that's under the image menu. At the very bottom, there's a flyout called analysis. And under here, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set a measurement scale. This will allow us to make measurements using real-world coordinates. If you just need to make measurements in pixels, then you don't need to do this step. But we're gonna, since we have a ruler in our video, we can set a real-world measurement scale. So first thing to do is to hover over Set Measurement Scale and choose Custom. And this brings up a little dialog box that this lets you draw out a length on the screen and then equate that to a real-world measurement. So what I'm going to do is just drag out a 10 centimeters on our ruler here, and you can see that when I click and drag that, it shows me that that's 255 pixels, and it's asking me what the logical length is. So the logical length is 10 centimeters. So I just type in 10, and under the units I type in cm, and so now it's telling me 255 pixels equals 10 centimeters. And if I click OK, now any measurements that I make in this on the screen will be in centimeters. And that's pretty handy for making calculations later. You don't need to do the conversion. So now to make a measurement, all we have to do is click and drag with the measure tool. If the measure tool is not up, it's under this tab right here, under the eyedropper tool, and it's the fourth one down, ruler tool. So to record that measurement, if you look at the bottom of the screen, you'll see that next to the timeline, a measurement log tab has appeared. If we click the measurement log, we just press this record measurements button and we get a measurement. And it includes our scale and the length in centimeters and the angle of that line on the screen. So to make this useful, we might want to put a couple of markers on the screen to show where our object started and track where it's going. So the first thing we need to do to put some guides on the screen is to show the ruler. So we're going to go to Window and View, and select Rulers. And then that brings up a ruler on the left and the right, and this ruler is in pixels. And I'm going to go back to my timeline tab in the lower left, and I'm going to scrub back to where my object starts moving. So this is where I want to measure from, so I'm just going to stop right there at that frame. Then if I move my cursor into the actual ruler at the top and then click and drag down, I can get a guide. And when I let go, a guide appears. And that will stay there even if I zoom or move the video around. So, and I'm going to do that to the left side as well. I'm going to hover my mouse over the ruler, click and drag in, and I'm going to make a guide that is right at the beginning of that ball. And that's where I'm going to make my measurements from as this thing slides down. So I'm going to take my video and move it. Oh, let's to make this quick, I'll move this in 5 frame increments. So I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'm going to take my measure tool and I'm going to measure from that guide to the beginning of the ball. And then I switch to my measurement log tab and hit record measurements. That records that length. Then go back to the timeline. In this case, I'm going to go forward 5 frames at a time. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then here, all you have to do is just grab the end of that measurement line and drag it to the front of the ball. And then go back to measurement log, record measurements, back to timeline, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Drag it out to the front of the ball, record measurement, back to timeline, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Grab the front of that and bring it to the front of the ball. Back to measurement log, record measurement. And so you just keep doing this. And when you're done, you'll have a series of measurements. And they're all in this table under the measurement log. Now to get this out, the thing that we need to do is highlight the measurements that we want to export. If you just press this button to export, it will only export the measurement that's highlighted, which would be the most recent. So we need to select the bottom measurement, move the table up, hold the shift key down, and select the top one. Okay, now I've got them all selected. Then when you've got them all selected, hit this button right here. If you hover over it, it will say export selected measurements. And so I just hit this button and it's going to export a text file. I'm going to save this to my desktop and call it measure test.txt, and make sure that you leave the .txt. I've had a problem with this. If you don't put the .txt, it won't show up on here, and it will, and you won't be able to open it in Excel. So we're going to give it that name, hit save. Now you can run Excel, and that will come in as a tab delimited text file. So let me show you how to open that. We're going to launch Excel, and then we can go File, Open, and when you go to open those files, Excel won't show them to you directly. You have to, it's automatically going to be looking for Excel files. So you need to go to the drop down, either choose all files or text files. And then we should see our measure test.txt, and hit open, and it's going to ask you to choose what the delimiter is. So we're just going to say that this is delimited. Next, and it'll come up fine with the default tab delimited. And if you look at the little preview here, you can see that the columns are being separated. So we're going to hit finish, and there's our set of measurements. These lengths are in centimeters. So you should be good to go. You can make all your calculations based on this. And that's it. Thanks for watching.